Alright, we are live, ladies and germs, and oh my god. Oh, do I want to rip NASCAR a new fucking asshole. This race was the biggest farce of this season so far. And what pisses me off even more is just how willing that some people who love to suck NASCAR's balls just love to defend what NASCAR does, when what they did was pure and blatant race manipulation. You know, they get mad when teams do it, but they have no qualms about doing it themselves. And by my count, this is the second time this season they've done such a thing. The last time was the Daytona Road Course. Remember when they threw that fucking dumbass caution for rain? And it ended up costing Chase Elliott the win. Same thing happened here, except it was Kyle Larson that got screwed. Oh, NASCAR, you bunch of fucking twats. You see, it's shit like this that really makes me question why I still cover this fucking company. What do you think, Camo? See, even my cat's wondering why I still cover this shit. This shit is frustrating. It really is. And, oh, I'm going to tear NASCAR a new asshole. It wouldn't be the first time, and I know it won't be the last. So, let's get into it. You want to see me spit some fire? Buckle up, lock and load. This is the fuel. What's happening, ladies and germs? This is the Packerman, and welcome to tonight's edition of The Fuel, where we're going to be talking about the absolute fucking nonsense that was the Buschy McBusch Race 400 at the Kansas Speedway. This was just, what the fuck, dude. 82nd episode of The Fuel. The title of this episode, of this review, WWE on Wheels. Because that's basically what it feels like. Just absolute manipulative bullshit that we saw tonight at Kansas. Before we get into all that, though, first off, the title of this race, the Buschy McBusch Race 400, is the dumbest fucking race title I've ever heard in my life. Apparently, Busch held this contest to basically determine, hey, whoever gets the most interesting race title, you know, that'll be featured as the official race title for the race at Kansas. And they chose Buschy McBusch race. Dumbest fucking shit ever. Like, it makes the sport look like a fucking joke. Buschy McBusch race 400. Get the fuck out of here with that. But that's, I mean, I guess in a sense, it makes sense considering that Kyle Busch ended up with the win and Kevin Harvick driving the Busch car finished second. So, you know, I guess they got their wish on that one. The way they got to it, though, was pure fucking bullshit. And I am not happy in the slightest. So, what the fuck happened tonight in the Buschy McBusch race? Stupid fucking name 400. On a bright note, Kyle Busch did win on his birthday and becomes just the second driver ever after Cale Yarborough to win on his birthday more than twice. And he has never been beaten on his birthday, which is pretty crazy to think about. It was his 58th career win. And on top of that, he is now in a tie for second all-time with David Pearson for the most seasons with at least one win. I think it's most consecutive seasons as well. He has won at least once in 17 consecutive years. Richard Petty holds the all-time record with 18. Kyle Busch has won at least one race in every season he's competed in since he joined the Cup Series full-time back in 2005, I believe. That's pretty impressive. But on top of all that, because Kyle Busch got the win in this race, the season of parity continues. This is our 10th winner in 11 races. We're getting closer and closer to having 16 different winners, people. It's starting to become a reality. Because we're not even halfway through the regular season yet, and we've already had 10 different winners. The only multi-time winner we've had this year is Martin Truex. So, the season of parity continues. Will it continue going into the regular season finale? Well, there's a lot of road courses coming up, so Chase Elliott's probably going to get at least one of those, I would say, considering how much of a road course ace he is. But it's starting to look like more and more of a possibility that we could get 16 different winners in this season. Maybe even more than that, which is just crazy to think about. But that's not the main focus, the main topic of discussion in NASCAR right now. The main topic of discussion is the BS caution that came out late in Stage 3. During said run, Tyler Reddick's crew had a tire get away from them, and the tire rolled across the track and settled into the grass. And NASCAR let the race run green for about 15 or so laps. And then they decided to throw the caution with about 40 laps to go. Now, there have been some defenders of NASCAR. They're saying, well, it was the right call. Bullshit. Okay, and I don't give a shit if they've done this in the past. It wasn't the right call in the past either. I mean, you either throw the caution if it's determined to be a hazard on the track, or it's not. I mean, I remember a race at Talladega in 2002 where there was actually debris on the apron in turns 3 and 4. That could have been considered a hazard, but yet they decided to let the race stay green. And where that tire was, it was not in anybody's way. It was not in any danger whatsoever. Pit stops were complete. And the race should have just been stayed green from that point forward and let the race play out naturally. Now, was this a good race? No. I mean, the first stage had some good moments, but for the most part, this race was just boring. But if the race would have at least stayed green, then, you know, at the very least, it would have run out naturally, and this would have been chalked up as an uninteresting race, and we would have just moved on. But no, NASCAR just can't stay out of their own fucking way and decided to throw a caution to get the tire off the grass, which they could have easily had someone quickly run over, grab the tire, and bring it back to the pit wall. It literally would have only taken probably like, I don't know, 5-10 seconds. So, what's the point of the fucking caution flag? Absolute fucking nonsense. Completely changed the complexion of the race, and on top of that, it added like 3 more fucking caution flags that didn't need to happen. And several drivers ended up with wrecked race cars, and that's just more money out of teams' pockets when they could ill afford to have it right now. With sponsorship being as tight as it is, you know, but I guess NASCAR got what they wanted with their fucking, you know, great finish and all that other fucking bullshit that they try to peddle. It's a bunch of fucking nonsense. See, shit like this, manufactured bullshit like this, is what turns real race fans off, because they don't want to see, you know, the manufactured, you know, total drama island bullshit. We want to see how a race naturally plays out, because when you see how a race plays out, and, you know, and if there's something like a, you know, a great finish and all that shit, if it happened organically, it means more. Not this, you know, 2-lap dash bullshit that we saw tonight. Like, there was a caution with like almost 10 laps to go, and they decided to wait until almost 2 to go, you know, to have this 2-lap dash. I mean, what the fuck was that shit? And that was on top of this race being, you know, a fucking bore fest, and then a fucking crash fest. And that, you know, after that nonsense caution flag, we had 3 more cautions, you know, from, you know, crashes and all that shit, from, you know, a caution that didn't need to happen. It just caused even more fucking nonsense, and from my point of view, this race completely lost all credibility. Doesn't matter who would have fucking won this race. I didn't give a fuck about this race after that caution came out. But no, you know, NASCAR's not okay with teams manipulating race results, but, you know, they certainly seem to be fine with doing it with themselves. NASCAR's a fucking joke. Not only that, Bob Pockrass, who, you know, I respect for, you know, the shit, the journalism that he does. He actually said something that really pissed me off. He tweeted something that pissed me off, I'll say that. Because there were some people that weren't agreeing with him. You know, like there was one that said the amount of laps left has no bearing as to what is a safety hazard and what is not. And he replied, people come to see a race, so in my honest opinion, there can be times where to finish under green, you can make a judgment call. Bob, they could have just left the race fucking green instead of throwing the fucking caution. Okay, get your mouth off of NASCAR's ball sack for a second. And think with some fucking common sense. You say, well, if you want to race finish under green, you can make a judgment call. Yeah, the judgment call is they should have just left it fucking green! You know, and there were also several drivers that were okay with NASCAR, you know, letting the pit cycle, you know, finish before they threw the caution, which, you know, some drivers, you know, they get down on their knees and they suck NASCAR's knob too. So, you know, I don't trust their word for a fucking second. What a complete fucking farce this race was. In terms of the racing, it wasn't the worst of the year, but the officialdom just completely ruins this race for me. It completely ruins it. I mean, this would have been, you know, a forgettable race anyway, but this is a race that I will not go back and watch ever again. I mean, fuck this race straight into the ground. I mean, to start with, it had a dumbass race title to begin with. I mean, that's just fitting. A dumb race title for a dumbass race. God, what a bunch of fucking bullshit, man. And NASCAR wonders why it doesn't have any legitimacy anymore. Formula One race this morning was more entertaining than this fucking garbage. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this fucking review so I can get this shit done and over with, because I don't want to talk about this race any more than I have to. So, stages broke down like this. Stages 1 and 2 were 80 laps. Stage 3, 107 laps. Starting at the rear of the field was Ross Chastain and Eric Jones, who failed tech inspection twice, and Anthony Alfredo for unapproved adjustments. So, Brad Keselowski started from the pole by virtue of his win from Talladega, plus, you know, all the other shit that they did with the matrix that they use. He leads lap 1, lots of shuffling in the mid-pack. DiBenedetto gets by McDowell for 4th, but then Christopher Bell goes by Kyle Busch and Matty D for the 4th position, so Christopher Bell was good early on. Bell and Kyle Busch get by Harvick for 3rd and 4th. Then we had our first caution on lap 26, which was the competition caution, which I still think is pretty worthless. Everyone comes in for service. Kez wins the race off pit road, so he leads on the restart. Byron and Kez start fighting for the race lead. Both of those guys were good early on. Reddick moves up to 3rd. Byron continues pressuring Keselowski for the race lead. And apparently, Ryan Newman gets penalized for a body modification made during his pit stop. Apparently, one of the crew members pressed on the left rear quarter panel to try to put more downforce into it, I guess. So I guess a NASCAR official saw that and said, nah, fam, you gotta come back in and fix it. Okay. So, Larson gets by Harvick for 4th. Bear in mind, Kyle Larson started 32nd, and he was already up to the top 5 at this point. That just goes to show you how fast Larson was. The battle for 2nd starts heating up between Byron, Reddick, and Larson. But Larson gets by both of them. Then Larson catches Keselowski for the lead. We get a double whammy of pure lead changes because Kyle Larson led out the line, but then Keselowski gets back around him thanks to some lap traffic. So we had 2 pure lead changes right off the bat. And near the end of this stage, the top 5 were all within striking distance of each other. And I was like, okay, this is pretty good now. Reddick gets by Byron for 3rd. And moves up to challenge Keselowski and Larson for the race lead. He was basically right on their ass. But Kyle Larson manages to get around Keselowski for the lead on lap 74 for a 3rd pure lead change of the day. He actually did the slide job on him. Keselowski tried to cross over but pushed up and has to burp the throttle just a little wee bit because of the dirty air that he got. He basically got into Kyle Larson's wake and it pushed his car up the racetrack. And then all of a sudden Kyle Busch comes out of nowhere. The other Kyle moves up to 2nd and then challenges Larson for the lead and takes it on lap 77 for a 4th pure lead change of the day. You have another edition of the Kyle and Kyle show as they start battling hard for the stage 1 win, which Kyle Busch ends up winning. But still very impressive by Larson to make it all the way up to 2nd after starting 32nd. Everyone comes in for service, and Larson wins the race off pit road. So, stage number 2, which was 80 laps. Larson leads the start of stage 2. There's some 4 wide in the mid-pack. So the restarts, as usual, were pretty crazy. Reddick gets by Kyle Busch for 2nd, but then Busch battles back and retakes the position. Elliott and Keselowski start battling for the 4th position, and Ryan Blaney joins the fray as well as Truex. So good battle there. So we have a 4-way battle for 5th between Reddick, Elliott, Harvick, and Blaney. Looked like Reddick and Byron were not as good on this run as they both started to drift back a little bit. Denny Hamlin started coming towards the front, trying to crack into the top 5 after starting at mid-pack. He kicks off green flag pit stops on lap 119. Larson pits from the lead on lap 122. And then Cody Ware spins as trying to enter pit road, completely missing the commitment box. And of course he gets penalized for it. Cody Ware, man. Just, ugh. Whatever. Whatever. Stenhouse, Alfredo, Suarez, and McDowell start playing the long game by trying to stay out, but do not get the caution flag. Larson passes Stenhouse for the race lead, with Stenhouse yet to pit, but he does eventually pit. And Larson had a 7-second lead on Kyle Busch, and wins stage 2. Stage 2 was fucking trash. Everyone comes in for service. Kyle Larson wins the race off pit road, of course. Then we have stage 3, which was 107 laps. Hamlin with a potential loose wheel. His crew chief basically told him that they probably only had 3 lug nuts on the tire, but thankfully it did not turn into a loose wheel situation for him. Larson leads to start stage 3. Once again, there was 4 wide in the mid-pack, as per the usual. Kyle Busch takes the lead on the restart, but then Larson takes it right back for a 5th pure lead change, lap 169. Bubba Wallace gets loose underneath of Alex Bowman in turn 2 and taps the wall, but keeps it going. Unfortunately, Bowman was also into the wall and had to pit for to repair the damage to his fender. Hamlin gets by Kyle Busch for 2nd. Byron kicks off green flag pit stops with 61 laps to go, and then Larson pits from the lead with 55 to go. And at this point, it was a pretty uneventful race, and if it would have continued on from here and went green all the way to the end, it wouldn't have been thought of as a good race, but at the very least, we would have seen, a natural winner come out of this, and it'd be like, okay, forgettable race, but, file it away and move on. But no, this is when the bullshit started to happen. Eric Almirola and Tyler Reddick are penalized for uncontrolled tires. NASCAR was leaving the race green despite the H tire sitting in the grass near pit road. Larson eventually cycles back with the race lead, and then, several laps after the pit cycle is complete, they decide to throw the caution on lap 229 to retrieve the tire in the grass. And immediately I said, that is fucking stupid. I mean, that completely obliterates any legitimacy this race had. And then the bullshit began. So everyone comes in for service. Larson wins the race off pit road. Harvick gets penalized for an uncontrolled tire. He would actually come back to finish 2nd because there was another pit stop that he did where he got 4 fresh tires and charged back up through the field. So Larson leads on the restart. Larson decided to start on the outside. Hamlin managed to get ahead of Larson for the race lead. That was our 6th pure lead change, lap 238. But then Larson started really putting the pressure on Hamlin, and it actually forced Hamlin into a critical mistake. Hamlin smacked the wall hard in turn 4, which allowed Larson to retake the lead for a 7th pure lead change in lap 244. And that contact with the wall would eventually cost Hamlin, as he would bring out the 3rd caution on lap 244 when he slams the wall in turn 1 after losing the right front tire. Some cars come in for service, but Larson stays out. He actually faked some drivers. Some drivers took 2 tires, some took 4. So Larson leads on the restart with 18 laps to go. Ross Chastain at this point was up into the top 5 in the 42 car, but he was one of the drivers who also stayed out. Dillon smacks the wall in turn 4 but kept going, and then we had our 4th caution on lap 253 when Stenhouse got loose in turn 2, goes up the racetrack and collects Austin Cindric, and Stenhouse basically goes for a spin. So yeah, 2 cautions that basically came about as a result of the caution from lap 229. Go fucking figure. It was at this point that Keselowski on fresh tires was up into the top 5, so he was a major threat at this point. Larson leads on the restart with 10 laps to go. Kyle Busch gets the lead on the restart. Yeah, he got a great restart. We had our fifth caution on lap 259 when Christopher Bell gets loose in turns 3 and 4 and spins and collects both of the JTG daughtery cars of Ricky Stenhouse and Ryan Preece. Stenhouse's car basically stops on the front stretch and it was just billowing smoke and steam. Apparently, it took them all the way to 2 laps to go to clean that up, which makes no fucking sense to me. So Kyle Busch leads with 2 laps to go. Basically, Larson was trying to give Blaney kind of like a bump draft going into turn 1, but nearly spins Blaney out. But Blaney is somehow able to save that car, which is amazing. Larson scrapes the wall. In the final lap, Keselowski puts a pretty aggressive block on Chase Elliott, who was trying to come around the outside. And Kevin Harvick jumps all the way up to second. And if he probably had one more lap, he probably would have had a shot at Kyle Busch on the 4 fresh tires. But Kyle Busch, on his birthday, his 36th birthday, despite all of the shit that had been going on in his personal life with his wife dealing with infertility problems, they've been trying to, have more kids. But his wife Samantha's been having some infertility issues. But he comes home with a win on his birthday for his 58th career Cup Series victory, winning this farce of a fucking race. The dumbass race title 400, as I'm going to call it now. This race was a fucking joke. I mean, really, the only good parts to this race was the end of stage 1 when we had that 5-wide battle, or that 5-way battle for the race lead late in the going. But other than that, this race was boring as hell, and that's all it would have been if it weren't for that stupid ass caution on lap 229. Good job, NASCAR, you fucking idiots. So, overall lead changes. There were 18 overall lead changes in this race. 7 of them pure with 5 caution flags. Who gives a shit? Basically, the pure lead change count doesn't really fucking matter here because this race was a total farce anyways. So, race results for this stupid ass race. Kyle Busch ends up with the win, leading 20 laps and getting 59 total points. Nearly got the perfect 60, but just comes up short. Kevin Harvick comes home in second, his best outing of the season. Brad Keselowski led 72 laps, the first 72 laps as it turned out, but ends up third. Matt DiBenedetto with a top 5. Wow, he came out of nowhere to get that top 5. I didn't even know he finished 4th. So, great run for DiBenedetto. I mean, his season had started out kind of shitty, but he's really been coming on the last couple weeks. Chase Elliott comes home with a top 5 finish. Martin Truex Jr. in 6th. Tyler Reddick with a top 10 run, as well as Chris Buescher, who led 13 laps due to that long strategy that he tried. He was actually put a lap down because of that, but he still battled back for a top 10. William Byron in 9th, and Austin Dillon rounds out the top 10 despite smacking the wall late in the race. Point standings after 11 races of 36 this season. Despite his problems, Denny Hamlin continues to lead the point standings by a pretty healthy margin. 87 points over his teammate Martin Truex Jr. So yes, Hamlin did choke away another race win, but I mean, let's be honest here, guys. Hamlin's going to win more than one race this year. He's going to win multiple races this year. He's just been running too damn good. And even though he hasn't won yet, he's been damn close. So, do not count Denny Hamlin out this year. I'm telling you, he's going to be a threat for the championship. William Byron is third with 96 points. Then you have Joey Logano. Not a very good day for Logano. He had actually been dealing with some food poisoning, which is why he wasn't in the booth for the truck race last night. He'd been dealing with that. He actually finished in the mid-pack. Ryan Blaney nearly got spun on the next to last lap, but still came home with a still intact race car at the very least. And a 5th place points standing right now. Brad Keselowski 6th, Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick. They haven't won yet this year, which is just surprising because Kevin Harvick won 9 times last year, and Chase Elliott's your defending champion. But I believe that win's coming for Elliott soon because there's a shit ton of road courses coming up soon. Kyle Larson 9th. Kyle Busch with his win moves up into the top 10 in points. Then you have Austin Dillon, Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, and Matt DiBenedetto. Rounding out the top 16, DiBenedetto, good job to rally back and move himself into playoff contention. Then you have Kurt Busch, Tyler Reddick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Ryan Newman rounding out the top 20. And by the way, Ryan Newman started his 700th career Cup Series race today. But as for my final rating for this piece of shit race, I mean, I never want to talk about this race again, and I never want to watch this race again. This race was a complete and total fucking farce. My final rating for this race, 0. That's right, the first 0 on the fuel gauge here this season. So a 0 out of 10, the first one of the year. I've awarded quite a few of them in the past. You know, the most recent one was Talladega last year. And I think I awarded like 3 or 4 of them last year. I know I gave the Busch Clash one, I gave the Southern 500 one, and then I gave the Fall Talladega race one as well. So first 0 of the year for NASCAR, and a well-deserved 0 because their officiating is fucking garbage. This is the second time that they've blatantly manipulated a race, and it really makes me question why I even continue covering this fucking bullshit. So, 0 out of 10, fuck this race, fuck it straight in the ass. Just a load of fucking bullshit, and I'm done talking about it. Hopefully, Darlington next week, the throwback weekend, is a lot better. I mean, there's only one direction to go from here, and that's up. So hopefully the racing is better next week. Lord have mercy. But yeah, piece of shit race. A dumbly named race as well. Just a stupid fucking race title. And then on top of that, the race was fucking stupid on top of that. So, good job, NASCAR. Really proving why your legitimacy means absolutely fucking nothing. Fuck. We've had some good races this year, but boy, we've had some shitters, and this one, it takes the cake so far this year as being the shittiest. Maybe not mainly for the racing, but just for the dumb fucking decision making from NASCAR. I mean, what the fuck was going on up there in the booth? I mean, were they, taking a sandwich break or some shit like that? Were they sticking their pinky up their asshole to see how far they could go up? Like, scratch and sniff, that sort of shit going on? Like, what the fuck, man? I don't waste 3 hours of my fucking time to watch bullshit like that. If I'm going to invest that much time into something, you better make it worth my fucking while and not make me feel like a fucking idiot for watching that shit. And for those of you that were defending NASCAR, if you don't like what I have to say, there you go. That's what I think. You don't like it, you can kiss my fucking ass. I'm sick and tired of that fucking shit. How about you stop sucking NASCAR's ball sack when they do wrong, huh? How about you be fucking honest with yourself for once? Instead of trying to suck NASCAR's asshole. Fucking ridiculous. Anywho, I'm done with this fucking review. Fuck this race. Fuck NASCAR. Fuck everything about them. Just a complete fucking farce of a race. And they better pray to God next week's race is better. Because this is a bunch of fucking nonsense. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, this is the Packerman signing out. Fuck you, NASCAR. Thank you for watching tonight's video. Be sure to like and subscribe, you rats!